I'm Rob Scott from CX Today. Now, every year we talk about how customer expectations are changing, faster response times, smarter tools, greater empathy. But this year, something feels a little bit different. The data from Transcom's Consumer Insights report, produced in partnership with Execs in the Know, shows that CX isn't just evolving, it's now a core driver of revenue, loyalty, and growth. So what does that mean for 2026? Where should brands be investing, innovating, and rethinking their approach to customer experience? Well, to explore that, I'm joined by Jeff Blair, Chief Growth Officer, and Cortney Jonas Burnos, VP of Digital and AI at Transcom. And together we're going to be unpacking the big consumer trends, the role of AI, and what it takes to lead in the year ahead. So welcome, Jeff and Cortney. Good to see you both.
Hey, Rob, great to be here. Good seeing you.
Hi, Rob.
Really excited to get stuck in today. So let's just start with that big picture, Jeff. What stood out most from this year's consumer research, and what does it tell us about where CX is heading?
Yeah, really good opening question, Rob. One item that I think really stood out in that trends report was a CX headwind that we're labeling as the experience gap. We're defining this experience gap as the difference between the experience consumers expect versus the experience they actually receive. And what we found surprising is that from 2024 to 2025, how quickly that gap is widening. And we're really seeing that gap continuing to widen as we look into 2026. And I'll give you an example. Self-service usage went from 55% to 78% this year, which tells us customers want digital tools. But at the same time, they rank actual self-service they're receiving as one of the least effective ways to solve issues. And in nearly half of these customers, they abandon self-service when the technology fails. So, it clearly creates frustration. It's driving up support costs, and it ultimately erodes loyalty. So, we're really viewing this as a massive missed opportunity because we know that consumers say they want to spend more with brands that deliver a great experience. So, our view is the demand is there, but the delivery isn't.
That's so true, Jeff. I just want to add to that what I'm seeing is that way too often brands only get it half right. They implement AI or automated flows on top of really weak operational foundations. It's a little like putting a jet engine on a tricycle. Technically, you move faster, but you're still not going to get anywhere you actually want to go. The message from consumers overall that we found in our research was essentially that it's really important that brands are investing in their people as much as their platforms. That really means training agents for clarity, empathy, and cultural understanding, equipping them with AI and other real-time tools that solve issues, and building much stronger orchestration between AI and humans, not just more automation. To us, when we really looked through this research, the real surprise wasn't that there is an experience gap. We've been seeing that building for years. But what surprised us is how clearly consumers are telling brands that the solution is not more technology. It's better training for humans and better orchestration with AI. Overall, in a year dominated by AI hype, the data shows that the biggest differentiator in 2026 is actually human capability.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Now, we're seeing CX become a direct driver of revenue, aren't we? So how are the biggest brands connecting CX performance to measurable business outcomes? Jeff, do you want to say that one?
Yeah, sure. What we're seeing from our top performing brands and brands across the industry is really a fundamental mindset shift. CX isn't it's no longer treated as a cost to manage. It's really becoming one of the clearest levers for revenue growth. And as I mentioned just briefly a moment ago, our research is telling us that 70% of consumers are willing to pay more for a product or service if that customer experience is world class. So the business case isn't really theoretical any longer. Customers are explicitly telling us that experience drives spend. And we're also seeing that the smartest companies in the space are connecting CX performance to outcomes by focusing on two areas: operational excellence and upstream insight. When you improve core metrics like resolution rates, speed to serve, or even the quality of agent interactions, you don't just increase the efficiency, you're unlocking gains in retention, you're improving cross-sell, you're really increasing the lifetime value of your customers. I don't think it's rocket science to understand that every friction point you remove in a customer journey has the ability to show up in revenue. So for a company like Transcom, this is where our CX advisory team plays a really important role. Many organizations have the right data, but they struggle to interpret that data, or there's disconnected silos across their organization for use of that data. And our advisory as a whole helps brands diagnose where these experience gaps are costing revenue, and helps really identify the processes and technology changes that will deliver that highest return. And then the real value, Rob, is when you can unlock the contact center as an intelligence engine. When brands use analytics and AI to surface the patterns behind churn, failed journeys, or the challenge with purchase blockers, and you combine that with really with an advisory-driven insight, they can bring those findings back to the product. They can bring those findings back to marketing and operations, and really help in making upstream decisions that have a direct P&L impact.
To build on what Jeff's saying, I just want to add that brands that are getting the most out of AI are the ones treating it like part of their operating model. The magic really happens when digital and human channels are working together to reduce the effort that customers are putting in to receive service, to improve accuracy, and to give customers overall a more intuitive experience. We're seeing real ROI from AI. First, AI-powered agent assist and training tools reduce handle time, improve consistency, and help agents spend more energy on complex or emotional moments that can actually build loyalty between customers and their brands. We're also seeing ROI in automation that actually works, with routing, deflection, and containment that can shorten journeys without ever really removing human judgment from the equation. And then the third area where we're really seeing AI ROI is from insights. AI can actually analyze every conversation, not just the 10% of customers who answer surveys, but in that analysis, we can surface the true drivers of poor self-service, broken processes, or emerging risks. Those are the kind of insights that can lead directly to fixes that improve conversion, loyalty, and satisfaction. So when you bring all of that together, AI elevating people, better digital journeys, and operational insights that fuel better decision-making, you actually get CX improvements that are measurable, scalable, and directly tied to revenue.
Yeah, I love that. And, from bringing humans and AI together, I mean, I don't know about you, but it's been a big year for hearing the word human. Actually, in the age of AI, we're hearing the word human more and more, which is, I think, is invaluable. So, and Jeff, to your point, that intelligence engine, really interesting. I want to hear more about that. But there's also been some talk about stagnation, though, hasn't there? Brands losing ground because their partners, stopped evolving. How should organizations, evaluate whether their BPO partner is helping them grow or actually holding them back?
Yeah, well, what we're seeing is that a lot of brands aren't necessarily falling behind because they lack ambition. They're falling behind because their partners have stopped evolving, or they just simply chose the wrong partner to begin with. The mindset shift we're seeing is that enterprise buyers need to stop viewing their partners or their BPO partners as a cost controller, and really start evaluating them as a strategic growth enabler in a true partnership. As we sit here in 2026, it's no longer enough for a partner to hit SLA metrics or just deliver incremental efficiency. Yeah, those things are really super important, but the real differentiator is whether your partner is helping you close that experience gap, helping you unlock revenue, helping you keep pace with the rapidly changing customer expectation environment that we're experiencing today. As we spoke earlier, consumers are willing to pay more. I've said that a few times now, but your partner isn't just influencing the cost within that realm. They're also influencing your pricing power, your brand loyalty, and overall brand perception. As customers experience a better environment, they truly become a brand advocate for your product or your service. And our view, Rob, is that organizations really should be evaluating partners across three strategic dimensions to help drive this. One is strategic insight. Does your partner really bring the right proactive advisory level thinking? Can they turn those millions of signals of of contact center data into recommendations that improve the product or policy or their digital journeys. Operational execution is the partner really delivering on their commitments? Are they doing the thousands of little things right? Are they executing on the basics? But it's also around the ability to scale improvements. It's one thing to run small AI pilots. It's another to embed them into the operating model with the right governance, the right commercial constructs, the right change management process. And then the third lever there is really innovation and continuous improvement. Cortney, you want to touch base on that?
Yes, this one is something I'm pretty passionate about. The big question here is, does your partner bring a roadmap? Are they proactively showing you how AI, automation, digital journeys, and agent enablement can work together? The big question is, are they pushing you forward, or are they waiting for you to ask for support? From my perspective, the brands who are winning in this space right now are the one whose partners orchestrate people and AI to elevate every interaction, using AI to take the repetitive load off of agents while investing in training, empathy, cultural competency, and real-time assist tools for agents. That's the kind of combination that drives human-centered experiences consumers expect. When organizations start to evaluate their partners through these types of lenses, looking at strategic insights, scalable execution, and innovation that's rooted in improvement, the question really shifts from how cheap can we get this service to how fast can we grow? And the companies that make that shift are the ones that are pulling ahead in the experience race.
Yeah, there's some great points there. I mean, I'm hearing three words, right? Partners, I'm hearing technology, and I'm hearing strategy. And those three words seem to kind of make up, absolutely what the right partner is all about. So, and that advisory piece, super important in today's world. I saw recently that Transcom is recognized by ISG as a leader across all three key areas, including digital operations for its continuous investment in consulting, distributed delivery, and AI partnerships, enabling quick and agile services for clients. Could you share more about your approach to AI and why you believe it's resonating so strongly with clients?
Absolutely. And thank you for the call out around ISG. This recognition actually reflects how we approach AI at Transcom. We take a pragmatic client-first approach. We don't chase trends. We focus on outcomes. That's why we've built strong partnerships with leading AI providers, and we only build proprietary tools when the right solution doesn't exist. That hybrid model ensures that clients always get the best technology that meets their needs. It's not over-engineered, and we don't miss opportunities to innovate, especially between us and our clients. We only deploy AI where it creates measurable impact, not where it adds cost and complexity. We look for spaces where AI is going to be the right fit because we know that's how to get results. I'd love to share an example. We delivered an 85% productivity increase for a client through intelligent routing and AI-assisted handover. It essentially allowed agents to focus on the next customer while AI completed the repetitive work in the background. And it really resonates with client that the impact of that is end to end. We embed AI in so much of what we do. It improves how we recruit, how we train, how we onboard, and how we support agents. It accelerates speed to proficiency. We know that it's reducing attrition, and it's giving teams real-time tools that lower their stress levels and raise quality. Then in operations, automated QA, sentiment analytics, and predictive insights fuel continuous improvement without adding complexity. The way we approach AI at Transcom, we don't look at it like it's an add-on or an upsell. It's foundational. We embed it in everything we do to create better experiences. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to create lifetime value. That's why clients are responding so strongly to our approach, and that's why ISG recognized us in this space.
Yeah, Corey, I think that's great. I'll just add one thing there. When AI is deployed in a way that improves resolution, when it's deployed in a way that reduces friction and or strengthens agent experience, you don't just really benefit from operational savings. You really see gains in loyalty and retention. And going back to what we talked about earlier from an advisory perspective, I think our advisory model really helps clients use AI as a growth lever, not just as an efficiency play. We help them extract those insights from the contact center. We help them with those upstream decisions that impact product and marketing. And when AI is paired with a strong partnership, it really does become a true driver of real competitive advantage.
Yeah, interesting. And Cortney, I mean, AI continues to dominate the conversation in CX, doesn't it? I mean, but not always for the right reasons. So where is AI genuinely making a difference, and where are companies still getting it wrong?
That's such a great question. AI continues to dominate the CX conversation, but the reality is that much of what's being deployed today is a lot of noise rather than actual business impact. A lot of those tools fail because when they're implemented in silos or they lack integration with core processes, sometimes it's just because they haven't done anything for change management. At Transcom, we make AI a foundational part of our operating model. It's embedded in everything across agent enablement, automation, insights, continuous improvement. We've learned that that's how to use AI to actually deliver measurable value. I wanted to add another example too. We work with a leading electronics company that was struggling with some overwhelming service volumes. Our CX advisory team redesigned their troubleshooting process, resulting in us creating a chatbot with over 1,000 intents. The results were immediate and tangible. We had over 50,000 chatbot containments, a huge reduction, a 16% reduction in escalations to engineers, and a significant cost and time savings. All of that freed our agents to focus on higher value work. The results are clear. AI isn't about replacing people. It's about augmenting operations, improving efficiency, and generating real world business outcomes that improve customer experience.
Thanks, Courtney. So as we look toward 2026, how do you see AI and human expertise actually working together, most effectively? And what do organizations need to do to upskill and ensure AI enhances human capability rather than actually replacing it?
That's really a strong area of focus for us right now. When we're looking forward to 2026, we know that the most effective CX organizations are going to treat AI and human expertise as a system, not as separate pieces. So AI can handle repetitive tasks, orchestrate workflows, flag friction points. It can do all of that work at scale. But people bring empathy, judgment, and strategic insight, things that AI simply isn't ready to replicate at this scale. By designing experiences that combine agentic AI with guidance from people, we can create interactions that feel anticipatory, personalized, and effortless for our customers. That requires a strong focus on people. Upskilling isn't just about teaching employees how to use tools. It's about enabling them to adapt to this sort of new environment that we're working in, where many of our tools are powered by AI. We help clients build AI literacy programs, create AI champions across teams, and provide practical scenario-based training. It ensures that our employees feel empowered, not threatened by AI, and that AI is doing more to amplify their capabilities rather than replace them. Our approach also emphasizes communication fluency, cultural competency, and our real-time assist tools so that every customer interaction is seamless.
Yeah, Courtney, I think you did a great job framing that. The one piece that I would double click on that on and just kind of put a bow on is the most effective use of AI is when it amplifies human expertise rather than replacing it. So when we look across the landscape of technology, both what we provide and what we see across the CX industry, that amplification of human expertise through AI, I think, is the near-term driver and really where the benefit's being driven from an AI perspective today.
Yeah, some great points. And, we've arrived at that kind of part of the show that I really, really enjoy, and that's the predictions part. And, finally, I'd like, each of you to kind of, if you could make one bold prediction for CX in 2026, something you'd happily be held accountable for, what would it be? Who wants to take that one first?
I'll jump in. The magic 8-ball question, right?
Yeah.
I think in 2026 we'll begin seeing a much larger adoption of BPO's commercial modeling aligned to technology and AI. And I don't mean pricing for the tech platforms or AI as a line item, Rob. It's really a much larger strategic approach to the science and art of total cost of operations type of pricing. TCO forces the shift from cost cutting to making smart investments, and forces buyers to look at their partners' capabilities across AI frameworks, across automation, insights capabilities, really technology as a whole. And then the end result is really improved quality and outcomes in a shared commercial model. So I really think this is something we'll see a lot more of 26. It's not really a technology answer. It's more of a commercial terms answer. But I do think it's definitely something that will be very relevant in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, solid prediction there, Jeff. Thank you. Cortney, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I totally agree with Jeff. I feel like that's something we've already started having conversations about, and I expect to see more next year. The other one that I'd add is that I think efficiency is going to be the new competitive advantage. So I think we're going to have clients come to us and they're going to want more AI, but overall they're going to want to spend less. Because CX teams are being expected to modernize, personalize, and automate, and they're being expected to reduce their spend. The leaders who are going to thrive are going to be those who embrace that constraint as a catalyst for change. We have a responsibility to deliver smarter AI, better customer journeys, and lower operating costs all simultaneously. And that's kind of exciting because we get to prove that innovation doesn't require bigger budgets, just a better use of what we already have.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. And I'd like to make a prediction. I think, you're absolutely right. Right at the very start when you said, those partners that can help organizations find those gaps are the ones that are going to thrive. So fantastic. Brilliant insights. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Cortney. Been really great speaking to you today.
It's great, Rob. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Rob.
So if there's one takeaway from today, it's that customer experience is now inseparable from business growth. The winners in 2026 will be those who invest in curiosity, innovation, and a true partnership, not just technology. You can explore more insights from Transcom and download the full CX Leaders Consumer Edition report via the link below. And I'm Rob Scott from CX Today. Thanks for watching.